we don't need roads.
Did I leave the stove on?
I didn't choose this council. This council chose me.
All right, happy new year and welcome to Movies Are the Future, our brand spanking new podcast that hopes to prove that film will indeed save the human race and that it's all we should ever care about and that our lives aren't valid until everybody knows our top 10 films of the year. Because we just have to. It's just in our DNA.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
We have to talk about film. Yeah. I'm Harry Sweby, the creator of the Slop a little media company, creative collective based in Australia. And here is
Declan Wilson.
Dragon Saman.
We are the creators of Movies of the Future. I'd say popular Instagram movie news page.
yes.
Yeah.
These are two brilliant, beautiful, bountiful, just fantastic men behind people, I guess.
No, stick with
Nerds. The nerds men. Yeah. We gotta like save that one. Behind the Instagram empire, I guess, that you've built starting in 2013.
men.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're finally able to branch out and, show your face a little bit more.
We've been waiting to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've done a couple of podcasts together. We've been teasing this for a while, so I'm
we
glad
have.
that we're finally able to put this together. So thank you for joining us. It really means a lot. And we hope you have a fun time as we try to take you through a journey of film, past, present, and future. Like the best film of 2009, A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. If you remember that.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I
I
haven't seen
can't
it
even
either.
remember it.
But it was one of those weird, like, Polar Express kind of.
Yeah.
I think even Robert Zemeckis directed it as well.
Oh, damn.
If anyone is a big fan of A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey, let us know. Because are there any fans out there? Who knows? How are you guys? How have you been recently? I know you just got back from Sydney.
Yeah, yesterday.
It was New Year's. It was Christmas. How you
Oh.
guys feeling?
Good.
I just
ready
can't
to
believe
start.
it's 2019.
Yeah, ready to start the new year.
Oh, me too, dude.
Exciting
Yeah.
new journeys.
Yeah, 2019. It's definitely a big year when I think about it movie wise. There's my mic's being a pain in the ass. It's definitely a big year movie wise. I think there is a lot of big franchises that have like kind of like final movies. There's a lot of endings this year. There's like
Yeah.
the last sort of Daniel Craig Bond. Oh no, it's 2020 now.
No, that's
So I guess not. But
good
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
well, but Endgame. There's
Wars.
Star Wars.
And also Star Wars for TV as well.
Star Wars for TV.
big
John
deal.
Wick 3.
John Wick 3, probably the last one.
Yeah.
Game
Yeah.
of Thrones is ending, so
Yeah.
that's TV, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a movie
Yeah.
event now.
It's
Um,
culture, yeah.
yeah. If you just want to like zoom that one back out, that'd be good. But I kind of wanted to ask, now that it has been New Year's, do you have any movie-related resolutions? Anything that you're aiming to do with movies that you didn't quite do in 2018 that you want to do more of in 2019, or maybe less of?
Maybe see less bad movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just find myself exhausted after seeing bad movies because I'm like, well, that's time I'll never get back.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just going to be probably watch more movie commentaries, I think.
Yeah.
I think you always buy like Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff, and they always just kind of sit there. I'm always like, I'll get there, like
Yeah.
eventually.
They have so much stuff on them, so much information.
Yeah. And often I think like, I've already watched all the behind the scenes. I've already watched all of the interviews. What more could I get from? It's just going to be the same info. But
Yeah.
often it's not. And this year, speaking of looking this way, great segue there. Behind the camera, we have Ava Venzile producing, also from the Slop Shack. So thank you very much. But yeah, I was watching as a part of a piece of assessment I was doing. I was watching the Thor Ragnarok commentary.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have listened to
No,
it
I
/
haven't.
seen it, because I guess you watch commentary, but you hear the comment. Anyways, it's fantastic, and it
Yeah.
was like I need to listen to more commentaries.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I suppose Taika Waititi's pretty entertaining.
He gets his daughter on during like his like I don't even know. She's like 2 years old, 3 years old. She's like, oh, I don't want to watch this. This sucks. I want to watch Moana. And it's like, it's so funny. She's just like pointing stuff out. She's like, wow, angry green guy. It's so good. But she has like this really cute Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's like people in the sound booth because it's a commentary, and she's like messing with them. You guys gotta listen to that.
I'll get around to it. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, so very quickly, we just have a few pieces of housekeeping and a little bit of an introduction to us and this, and then we'll get straight into the news and the topics and the opinions and all that jazz that you've been waiting for. So basically, if you don't know what this is and you haven't read anything about it, this is a podcast that's produced by the Slop Shack, and obviously using the resources and experience that have been gained through our podcasts Slop and Slack. But this is Movies Are the Future, an hour-long podcast that celebrates film as the civilization-defining medium that we think it is.
Definitely.
Most definitely. That's got to be our like catchphrase now. It's just most
definitely.
Have you seen The Wire?
The what?
The Wire.
You know the show The
I
Wire?
haven't
Oh,
seen
no.
it, no.
That killed
like-
that conversation.
Yeah, but they say that a lot. That's good. But yes, basically movies teach us to be better people. They show us the potential of the human race. They inspire us to dream for a better tomorrow. All of that really just profound sounding stuff. And it continues to have a real impact on humanity, which it does when you really think about it. I mean, it's shaping lives and opinions, and it really does deserve a lot of attention. And I think people are starting to understand that. And that's why it is the most popular art form, really. If you want to argue, please send in... Which camera am I looking at? I'm looking at this one. Send in your disagreement to us, and we'll shut you down. But basically, the creators of Movies of the Future have teamed up with the Slop Shack to give film its due in a show that provides a monthly roundup of news, discussions about the industry, under-the-radar recommendations, and history of the craft. So basically, I'll get you guys to, I don't know, kind of talk us through how this whole thing sort of came to be, if you want, because I've talked about it enough.
Well, we got invited onto an episode of Slop, and I think we all mutually felt we got along pretty well, and we had a lot of fun talking about it, and we realized we could just do it more, make a podcast
Do
every
it
month.
forever.
Yeah, and Dragon and I have always been keen to expand out from Instagram. Weren't sure what, but we always wanted to do something.
We always wanted to talk more about movies and reach out to our audience, I guess. So this was a perfect way to sort of incorporate that.
And the Slop Shack and Harry have given us the opportunity to do that, so we're very
No,
excited.
It's a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys decided to do it, and I'm glad this works so well.
Yeah.
And I think something that you've said that sticks with me is when you're doing you were doing sort of like reviews or opinion-based pieces on Movies of the Future, and you miss out on a lot of the interaction and discussion about it, and how it often brings out elements of a film that you didn't think about and things like that. So it should be fun. We'll get to discuss. But Declan and I have disagreed on a few films, especially this year. And I'm sure Dragon and I have yet to find the film that we just really disagree on.
Yeah.
But I'm sure during the year we'll get there. So it should be fun. Yeah. But basically, speaking of sort of doing different opinions, I suppose, we didn't want this to be another sort of blockbuster appreciation podcast where it's just the same sort of news sort of regurgitated. And obviously these guys are in the real nitty-gritty of the news. Like, they know everything that's going on. So we wanted to shine a spotlight on some of the smaller things, recommend films that you might not have heard of, present news stories that you might not have heard about, and just kind of give film an appreciation from all areas, from the 1900s, like 1897 or whenever the first film was released, all the way through sort of, the early Hollywood era and the studio system and the independent film scene and digital and everything where we are today.
Wonderful.
So we'll see what happens. All right. just a couple of quick pieces. If you're ever in doubt about where to find the podcast or when each episode is released, head over to theslopshack.com for all those details. You can find the audio version on Podbean or at moviesarethefuture.podbean.com, which will be just down there. But it's also available on pretty much every podcast service like iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, all of those favorite services that you probably spend most of your time doing if you are listening to audio. If you are listening to audio, as I just said, all of our episodes are also released on YouTube in glorious video form, where you can see Declan being overshadowed by Tom Cruise, his large facade visage form. The ghost of Tom Cruise is behind you. And Dragon is being sort of saluted by a clone trooper there. Slash kind of like about to get like stabbed by someone from the raid too. So if you want to see this, head over to YouTube, where we'll be uploading every episode each month. And then, as discussed on the Slop Shack's Christmas special, we have a bunch of segments in each episode. So they all kind of look back on the previous month. So if you want to jump ahead, they're all timestamped below. So please feel free, jump ahead, skip us talking about our lives, and get to the stuff that really matters. So it's up to you. Whatever finds your fancy. All right. We've got through that. We're into it.
Awesome.
First
episode, which is, as we'll be talking about later, the most anticipated movies of 2019. It's now time for what's out, folks. I don't know.
Insert.
Something will be here. I'm excited to find out what it is. Which is basically where we just talk about what we've seen in the last month, which was December of 2018. So what have you guys seen? What did you enjoy?
I think the biggest new release is Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
Which I assume we've all seen.
My man.
I really enjoyed Aquaman. I really did.
I haven't seen it. So
you haven't seen it?
So this is going to be fun because
Really?
you guys
Oh,
get to
man.
tell me how good it is, and then I get to go in with really high
Well,
expectations.
I know Dragon really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty damn good, but
Wow.
there's a few, obviously with Jason Momoa and Amber Heard as your lead actors, there's a few cringe dialogue delivery.
Yeah. Who would have thought that those two would be headlining like one of the biggest films of all time? Actually, there you go.
Yeah.
It's
But
pretty,
yeah.
it's pretty corny too. Like there's a lot of jokes and lines that you're not cringing, but you're just like, oh, so we're going there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the way, when I saw the trailer, I tried to. Side note: I try to stay away from like most second trailers. I usually watch the first one. I try to stay away from the second ones.
Especially when it's 5 minutes long, you know.
Oh
Aquaman's
yeah,
case.
no, exactly. I was shocked. Like the Comic-Con one that they released was like
Yeah.
huge. But Black Manta was the bit that sold me. Like just seeing his like huge head.
Oh, that was
It is Black Manta, right? That's what it's called.
Black Manta. Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. He's running in the desert. So does it really just get really weird? Like talking to fish levels are weird. Like
In that sense, no. They take Aquaman's mythology pretty seriously.
Oh,
I reckon,
nice.
It's
yeah.
pretty grounded for like what they have to work with.
yeah,
Yeah.
true. Okay.
Isn't there a Pitbull song of Africa in it? Like, in the
Yeah.
or something?
There's like two.
I heard that and I was like,
There's
I don't want to see it after this.
Yeah.
there's like 2 moments in it where they play like a pop song for like 20 seconds, and it's just
Oh no.
those are probably the 2 moments that just
Didn't
anger
work
me
for you.
so much. It's just why.
It actually
Yeah.
sold me though when someone because someone was telling me a couple of days ago that Pitbull had a song and that you have to listen to it because you just can't believe that it's a real thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, this isn't real. Like you're joking. They show me the song and it's the beat from Africa, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to see the movie like right now. And obviously I didn't. But
Yeah.
if anything was going to motivate me to watch
That would be
Aquaman,
it.
Yeah.
Pitbull doing a cover of Toto.
Africa.
Yeah.
How did this movie get made?
And talking about comic book movies, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse
Amazing,
I loved-
spectacular,
yeah, I loved it.
ultimate,
blew my mind. It was
superior.
Visually stunning too. Like everything that they did, the
Mm.
team behind it.
yeah, I just wasn't expecting it to be that good.
How many times have you guys seen it?
Just
seen-
the once.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah,
Uh,
you got to see it again the second time because you pick up on a lot of like background.
I'm
and
sure
stuff.
I'll
There's
admit,
so much stuff
I'll
going
admit,
on.
like the first time I saw it, I loved it, but I was a bit like, Oh, okay. But then the second time I saw it, I appreciated it more. Like,
Nice.
there was just so much, like, yeah, like you said, like you pick out.
Yeah, because Miles, bit of a spoiler, not really. If you really haven't seen it and you really don't want to be spoiled, then jump out of this. Because I know I might be angry if I was listening to it. But Miles's universe is not our universe. He's in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of Easter eggs in the back of like slightly different
In
things.
Times
Like,
Square.
Well,
Yeah.
it's,
So
well, even
much.
in the trailers, it's like you can see on the cop car.
yeah,
PD,
yeah.
NY.
Yeah, exactly. Which
Police
is
department.
fascinating because if they're going to continue this franchise from Miles's perspective, then we get to discover a whole new universe.
Yeah.
Of, like slightly different things the whole time. My favorite one is the never made Shaun of the Dead sequel from Shaun till Dawn,
Yeah.
or from Shaun. It's from Dusk Till Dawn, so I think it's from Dusk Till Shaun. I think that's what it is.
Sounds right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's that poster for that in Times Square and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, that's yeah.
There's also a Seth Rogen sort of
Yeah,
thing where he's on a horse or whatever.
I don't know. That must be a reference to
But
something.
yeah, it's a good movie.
But yeah, great movie. And the interesting thing to me is how they've put Chris Miller and Phil Lord right in front of the center of the promotional material.
Yeah.
Like you,
'Cause
no one.
I thought they directed it until
No.
Yeah.
he told
See,
me
they're trying to
otherwise.
make you feel like they did. Like Chris Miller didn't even like write it. Like he was just
Yeah,
producer.
that's
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that even after the whole solo thing,
Yeah.
they would just, they just know that these guys can sell it and that they obviously have some kind of, popular
Yeah.
sort of like
Yeah.
cachet, I guess, with film fans. So
But still, even though one of them only wrote it, one of them only produced it, that's still a lot of involvement.
Oh, yeah.
They could have really poured themselves into the whole production process.
No, agreed. The film definitely comes from them. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Sony came to them and said, "Can you make this?" So
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
This film doesn't exist without the two of them.
Yeah, producing.
But it's interesting how they've seemed to have had a big year without actually directing anything. Like,
True,
know?
Yeah.
like they didn't get a credit on direct, even though they've been a part of two of, well, I guess one controversial
Yeah.
movie, but one really, really good movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of prolific producing credits, Mortal Engines with
segues,
Peter
man.
Jackson.
Haven't seen it. No, probably not going to see it until like it
Dragon.
arrives
Anyone
on
that's seen
Netflix.
it?
Yeah, Dragon's the
Oh,
only one.
okay. I thought you hear this a lot, but it would have worked way better as a TV show. There's just
Okay.
so much
Ooh,
world building
Yeah,
in the movie. Like, it's really interesting. Like, all these cities on wheels. I mean, it sounds stupid, but like when you see it and how big of a scale it is, it's pretty good. But the thing is, it just falls into that basic young adult, like sort of cliche.
Yeah, I
sort
heard
of-
it ends very similar to Star Wars. Someone was
Oh.
telling me it's very Star Wars, like ripping off.
It
like,
does. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to spoil the ending, but yeah, it's pretty much just, it's like a riding off into the sunset sort of ending.
Okay.
Yeah, and the things I didn't really care for anyone in the movie. There was this one character though that came out of nowhere, and it was close to tears. Like their whole backstory. I'm
Wow,
like,
nice.
I want to see that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's more interesting to me than anything else.
Yeah.
That's
And-
good.
And another movie I think you're the only one that's seen is Once Upon a Deadpool.
Am I the only one that's seen it?
Yeah, I didn't go
Oh.
see it. I didn't even know that it was like released. Why?
I think it was
like,
only like a week here.
Yeah. Oh, I totally missed it.
I mean,
It's
if
just-
you really like Deadpool 2,
It's
you
just
should see
Deadpool
it.
2.
It is Deadpool 2,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
cut differently, different jokes with some Fred Savage scenes. Those are by far the best.
Which is technically the third time, because if you got it on home
it's
release,
super duper
there's
cut.
the super
Yeah.
duper cut. So this is like the third version of that
See,
one
I
movie.
haven't
Money.
seen.
Dude, like legit, it's just like how much can we just wring out of this
Yeah.
one wet, bloody Deadpool
Yeah.
leather suit?
just
Yeah.
like before Disney
Ugh.
steals us.
Like,
Yeah, legit.
And then, are you the only one that's seen Vice?
No, I've seen
Oh, you've
Vice.
seen it?
Have you not seen it?
No, I'm the
Okay,
only
I won't. Obviously, we won't be spoiling
No.
anything here because Vice is a movie that
Just
it's
came
tough
out.
to talk about without spoiling in a sense.
yeah.
Even though it's based on a true life
story,
story.
Yeah.
So it's not actually what happens. It's not the plot that is a spoiler. It's just
It's
how it's
just-
presented.
yeah.
It is by far one of my favorite movies of the year.
Ooh,
here we
go.
Did you?
I-
Okay, so I understand
Okay.
what I. Yeah, okay. You tell me first because I think I get it.
There are parts that I loved.
Yeah.
but there are parts that I hated.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
a polarizing movie. It's well made, well acted.
Yep.
Everything technical about it is good, but Adam Kay is the main problem with the movie.
Oh, we found
We
the
found the
film that
movie.
Dragon and I can.
It's just there's so
seesaw
much
on.
stuff in the movie that's sort of just so in your face, like
Yeah.
pushing.
Yeah.
And did you see the mid credits?
Yeah. No,
that
I
kinda pissed me off.
stayed for the whole thing.
I did not like the mid credits scene.
Ooh.
Also, part of me, I mean, I saw it yesterday and I stayed up for New Year's, so maybe I got to see it again to appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's so half and half.
Wow, yeah. I've seen a bit of a reaction to that. People obviously aren't liking it as much as The Big Short. And to me, it takes... It's funny that we talk about this right after Deadpool, because I think
Yeah.
Vice is actually, like, very Deadpool-like, in the sense where it's very
Yeah.
meta. It's hard to explain if you haven't seen
I
it.
get what you mean, yeah.
But it's playing with the audience the whole time.
Yeah.
It's speaking directly to you. It's cutting through the bullshit. It's going like, you know what? Everyone's kind of knows the details of this classic story, right?
Yeah.
Of kind of like, it's like the Frank Underwood sort of rise to power, except that we have this very uncharismatic lead.
Yeah.
Like the main character in our film is just very, you would look at him and you would just kind of be like, he's the lead of the film. And so what they've done is that they've presented it in the most stylish, meta, just kind of like throw everything at you way possible. And I guess for some people that lands, and for some people it's just distracting and annoying and bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah. Although there's this thing in the middle, like, where things happen and then it's just like, all right, it looks like it's gonna do something.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. It's
you know
set,
what I mean?
yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Did you not like that?
No, I like that.
Oh, I
that's-
was in tears, man. It
Yeah.
was so funny.
Yeah, that I really love that. But yeah, it's just such a 50-50 movie for me at the moment.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah.
If you want to hear us talk about this more, check out our special episode coming out in, I think it's like about 2 weeks probably,
Yeah.
which will be covering our favorite films of 2018
Yes.
and the worst films, obviously, of 2018.
Another movie I wanted to talk about was Bumblebee, which came out.
It was alright. Like, it was better than the other
Oh,
ones,
that's not hard to do.
but still not anything that I'm going to watch again.
Yeah, like it was pleasant, but it was pretty predictable and cliche.
Exactly.
and
It's pleasant. You've nailed it.
Yeah, I
was
think I
just-
like it the most out of all of us, but just that first 10 minutes really gripped me. Like
The
that was what I
Cybertron.
wanted to see.
See, to me, the first 10 minutes should have taken place in the middle of the film. Like, that should have been a
Oh,
big, like,
right.
reveal. And I understand
Yeah.
why I reckon it originally was in the middle, and they just put it at the front because they were like, look,
because they want to use it in the marketing.
yeah. And they were like, look, we've revealed kind of, it's probably been leaked slowly that this stuff's in it. Let's just pop it right at the front.
Yeah.
And you sort of want to open a big budget movie like that with a cool action sequence.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But then they even came back to it in the middle again, and I was like,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
just for it.
you know, it's like, it just seemed like it was more organic to be in the middle.
Yeah.
And so, just real quickly, if you haven't seen Bumblebee, you probably aren't going to see it by now.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get spoiled by anything from Bumblebee, then stop listening, and I will raise my glass to you in Great Gatsby style when you're allowed to come back. So, this begins the spoiler section. I was watching the whole time, thinking about how it was probably written in the first draft and how it's kind of been like changed by the studio.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
seemed like there were a lot of script decisions where they set it up perfectly to have you follow through. What's the female, like the main character's?
Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
It seems like you're kind of supposed to follow her perspective, and they put Bumblebee in an amnesia sort of state.
And you
So
sort
that-
of find
Just
out.
to
with
Yeah.
have that
character.
connection. Yeah.
Exactly. So the problem is like when you know his whole mission and you know who he is and you know
Yeah,
his
you're
whole
just-
plot, it removes the tension and it's
And you're just waiting for him. Just get your memory back.
yeah,
just get
exactly.
your memory back. Whereas
exactly.
it's like, how did he lose his memory?
Yeah.
I think I have a rough idea, but and then you see it and it's like,
You're like,
whoa.
wow. You're like amazed in the middle
Especially
of the movie.
when
Yeah.
the middle part of the movie is probably the bit that dragged the most.
That would have
or-
picked up the pacing so well.
And I
Yeah.
just think the whole point of doing the amnesia and the mystery so that you are finding out the information as the characters do. And it's like, if you have Charlie and Bumblebee on the same level with us, you
Yeah.
know, it's like, well, we don't know and we're going to find out. It
Yeah.
makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
and then, I can understand why the studio did it. It just seemed like a bit of a
Yeah.
yes. Doesn't make sense that a robotic but also organic car from the future,
Yeah.
not from the future, from
An advanced
an
alien
advanced
world.
civilization. Yeah. Anyways, it was alright.
Yeah.
John Cena wasn't very good, but I still like John Cena. He's very charismatic. It just wasn't. in the
It
movie.
was like bad, but he was the most entertaining sort of.
I don't know. When he was just shooting that guy in the tree, I was just like, "Is this really going
There's
to be
a door in my way.
Ah.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
The best line that he has is when he's sitting at the table, and then the
Taxi.
dad is like, you know, when I would do stuff like this when I was a kid. Like I remember stealing
Yeah,
this. He's
it's
like,
like-
yeah, we know.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah.
Oh.
All right. Spoiler section now over. Sorry, is that Rick Grimes or
Yep. Oh,
There-
he's
sorry, Rick.
TV character. What's he doing here?
now he's a movie character because
Oh,
we're
that-
doing all the Walking Dead movies.
Yes.
Come back.
Spoilers. For
Come
Walking
back.
Dead.
All right. So, have we covered everything?
Yeah,
We have. We
I think
have.
we should
All
move
right.
on.
Second topic.
Dragon.
Dragon.
I don't know how to start this. All right, so
Segment 2. Graphic here. Go graphic.
So now we're presenting the headline sealers, which is the main topics that everyone sort of covers: Marvel, DC, Star Wars.
Just
We're just giving our quick thoughts on these because everyone's sort of given their basic thoughts. So
Just kind of jumping through them.
Yeah.
pretty much.
So they do exist, but
Yeah,
we're not going to focus
but
on
that's
them
not
as
our
much.
main
Yeah.
focus here.
Mm-hmm.
and
So we've gotten our first Avengers Endgame trailer and our
Yes.
second Captain Marvel trailer. What do you?
Marvel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marvel overload.
Very, very excited. I don't know. I'm going to say one thing, I guess. Like, if we're
Yeah.
going around, we're just going to keep it quick thoughts. If this movie doesn't end with Tony and Pepper's wedding, I will just like,
I'm opposite.
I will stand up
I
and
wanna-
just flip my
I
popcorn.
want to end with Tony dying, or
It's not going to happen. Okay, we're going to tell you right now. We're gonna do a shake. How much do I bet that it ends with Tony and
We'll
Pepper's
just go with-
wedding?
We'll just go with.
All right, tell you what. I'm going to say
$5.
that maybe it doesn't end. At some point in the movie, dream sequence or not, there is
Just
a
a
wedding
wedding.
between Tony and Pepper. Tony and Pepper are standing at an altar. No, even not at an altar. Maybe they just get married over the phone, you know? Something before he dies. Something happens.
Or just be like, yo,
No,
want to be my
see, I
wife?
reckon. I
he's-
reckon that could happen. I just don't reckon it'll happen at the end. I
Alright,
reckon
I'm
it's
gonna-
gonna be a hopeful but also sad.
When's your
ending.
birthday?
June.
Okay, I will buy you the Blu-ray of Avengers Endgame when it comes out in June.
Ooh.
If
I
it's
will.
not in there.
Okay.
There you go.
What am I gonna do?
I don't know, buy me the...
Iron Man 3 on. you can have mine.
Oh, I'll happily
Oh
take
wait, I put it behind there.
I already have it on Blu-ray, but I'll have it again.
I hit it behind there.
Ah.
Doesn't deserve the spot.
Ooh.
I
War
love
of
Iron Man 3.
words.
Declan hates it. Anyways, Avengers Endgame. Quick
Yeah.
thoughts. Anything else?
Oh, what else is there to say? Very, very excited for it.
Yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah.
do a special episode where we'll
Just
do
for
a
that.
before
Just-
and
yeah.
after when we see it.
Yeah.
April 27,
some-
28?
something like that. Yeah.
Alright, we'll see.
Late April.
Next up.
The second Captain Marvel trailer.
Significantly
came
better.
out.
Yeah,
Significantly
better.
Better than
first.
They're
the
still
first
trying to
one.
sell it more serious than I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing with Marvel movie trailers. It's like, wow, this looks good, and then it's just
it's
jokes and jokes, which is fine, but it's just like, stop getting me excited for something else.
The thing is,
kinda.
it always it's the trailer. It has the title, then it's a little joke and a cool shot at the end. That's always how it's been.
Yeah, the Captain Marvel trailers haven't been as good as the other trailers recently, I
Yeah.
think. But I think that's just because there's a lot that they don't want to show.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And I think
Yeah.
it's part of the humor, especially like with the 90s setting. It seems like where the
Yeah.
humor seems to be coming from. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, like I'm sure it'll be good to very good,
But
nothing's really selling me at this point. I'll watch it, but nothing's
Yeah.
just giving me that, feeling to really watch it.
yeah, fair. I just want more Coulson.
Amen to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're moving on to DC's Plastic Man and Zatanna movies are being in
They're going for the
development.
solo movies now.
Awesome.
Ah,
Great. I hope they work out. Plastic Man.
I
That's
mean,
pretty cool. I love Zatanna.
Or it's like, you know, they're
That's
making
it.
a Zatanna solo movie, but it's like, what happened to the Justice League Dark movie? Why
There's
do they need to make a solo movie for?
Guillermo, come back and
Yeah.
help.
Part of me is just like what they were able to do with Aquaman, like that sort of, I don't want to say goofy, but you know, he's sort of the joke of the heroes back then, and what they were able to do with him, I think they could do something good with Plastic Man, like
In vain with
Yeah.
Deadpool or
yeah, something like that.
yeah. But speaking of Aquaman, it's quite a box office hit, isn't it?
It's crazy to me, but also not that crazy. It's Christmas season.
It definitely helped with releasing in China first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Well, it's 750 worldwide at the moment,
Oof.
and 230 of that's just from China.
I
Probably,
was-
probably more, but yeah.
You reckon it'll hit $1 billion
What's it
I
at?
don't
by
know.
like February? I think it's on the way. I think it only had its wide release 2 weeks ago. What like yeah? So
It's possible, yeah.
it is, especially with China.
It'll definitely get like to mid 900s.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Which means like, what's it gonna kick off the top 10?
Yeah.
Like movies of the year, like the box office. I think number 10 is something like Venom. No, Venom's like 5.
Venom's number 5. Number 10 is
Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, that's
So
going.
if it-
That's going.
well, if it makes
bye bye.
over 850, it'll be the 5th highest grossing movie of the year, beating out Venom.
What's Fallout on?
Fallout is 791.
Because it keeps getting kicked lower and lower. I'm
I
like,
know.
please stop.
Especially when it's the most successful in
Yeah.
the franchise.
Like Bohemian Rhapsody is like at 700 now, or at least close, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
There's-
it's past 700, yeah.
There's so many movies that are like just about to hit that top 10. Like there's probably like between 11 and like 16 of like the top grossing movies. I think like they're all sitting on like 700 mil. So
Yeah.
we'll see what goes up. But like,
yeah.
wow, it's crazy. It's been a crazy box office year. Surprises and
Venom and
Yeah, Venom.
yeah, Venom,
Hey,
Solo, all that. Well,
yeah.
we'll probably go through a bit more of that maybe in the special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continuing on with DC,
Yeah.
Jason Momoa says that Henry Cavill is still Superman despite all those reports. I don't know.
I don't know what to think. I want to see him as Superman again
Yeah.
because I think he's really good.
We'll see. Keen for The Witcher. That's all I'm
didn't
gonna
like
say.
that.
I mean, he looks like really weird, but still keen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Next up.
And then now we're heading to Star Wars. Natalie
yes.
Portman denies any appearance in the next one.
And Star Wars Episode 9.
It's
yeah.
been interesting following the leaks because bit of backstory. I'll run through this really quickly. Here's the camera. Back when The Force Awakens came out, I was a big subscriber of r/Star Wars Leaks. They're a little Reddit community. Go follow it. And makingstarwars.com. Jason Ward, what's up? I'm going to tweet at you. Anyway, stop saying that you have big announcements and then no announcement the next day. It's really annoying. Anyways, so I've been following Star Wars Leaks for ages. I kind of stopped after Force Awakens because I went into that movie knowing exactly what was going to happen.
Oh, right.
And so from then on, I was like, I'm kind of keen to be surprised now. And also they got better at covering leaks up.
Yeah.
So I only know like a few things, just because I just can't wait, and I have to get my like Star Wars info.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Star Wars leaks that have been going around are just like all over the place. I reckon what they're doing is they are throwing in a whole bunch of just like fake stuff just to throw people off.
Yeah.
Which is actually good because it's, I don't know if anyone else is in r/Star Wars leaks, let me know how you feel. But I want to be there, and I keep checking the that subreddit all the time, but yet I don't want to be spoiled. So it's kind of like I love it when you misdirect me and I don't know it.
Yeah.
Where I can feel like I'm getting spoiled, but I'm actually not. It's a really weird place to be.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about Star Wars?
Well, I wasn't a big fan of The Last Jedi that much. So I know.
I think I just.
Hang on a second. Yeah, keep going.
Damn, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this.
Mm.
I'm not fully invested in Star Wars anymore.
I don't
and
think
I
you're
say
gonna hate for that.
and I say that because none of The Last Jedi, like leading up to it, it's got nothing to do with The Last Jedi and Solo, but like leading up to it, none of the trailers even got me excited for Last Jedi. I got excited for it because of the name Star Wars, and then like Last Jedi, I liked the movie. So, but after that, Solo, I like that too, but I just feel like having Star Wars come out every year is kind of like spoiled. Makes me feel spoiled,
weakens
and it's like,
the hype a little bit.
yeah, and it's like back then, it's like people like, oh, you had to wait 3 years for the next Star Wars. Why are you complaining? It's like, well, I want that. I want to wait. I don't want to just be fed all this stuff. So with 9, I'm gonna see it because it's Star Wars, but I can't say that I care too much about it.
Yeah, I think you're on the level that a lot of people are at. And I think there's people like me that are just live or die by Star Wars and follow everything. And then it's nice for me specifically to be able to talk to people on the complete other end of the spectrum. Like, there's been a real divide recently. Yeah. And I'm glad that we can stop talking about The Last Jedi because it seems like people are actually starting to move on. But it seems like through most of the fans and the subreddits that I've been reading through, it seems like people are very keen for episode 9 though. At least it's kind of starting to unite the fan base again, and maybe that's the fan base's mistake, or maybe it'll be worth it. But I rest my faith with JJ. So.
Come on, JJ. Anyway.
All right, we've finished with the headlines.
Moving on to the big small news, which is basically
graphic,
which is basically everything but Marvel, Star Wars, DC.
Yes.
Sort of the biggest of the less headliney sort
the
of
things you might not have heard about.
Yeah, which is what we like to talk about a lot on Movies of the Future, and which is what we get a lot of positive comments about for not just doing Marvel, Star Wars, DC.
That's good. All right, take us through it.
First up, Angel Has Fallen, the highly anticipated sequel to Olympus in London Has Fallen, will arrive this year.
This year.
Happy New Year. Wow, that's weird.
Yep. Dragon and I
am so excited.
Big Gerard Butler fans.
Olympus Has Fallen is one of my favorite movies of all time.
When I met these guys, they just won't shut up about
Gerard Butler.
And this trilogy now in particular. Or including the alternate universe spin-off Hunter Killer. No, don't leave that one out.
Let's
okay.
leave that one out.
All right.
Yeah. Olympus Angel Has Fallen.
Is there a trailer out? Or no?
I'm waiting for it.
Just every day.
Every day.
Just like give Angel Has Fallen trailer. Spam it.
Yeah. But yes, we're keen for that. I know a lot of people aren't, but it's like the ultimate guilty pleasure type thing.
Damn.
And the fact that they are successful enough to have a trilogy is fantastic.
Yeah. I reckon if, you've got a decent audience, if you can get all of them to tweet at what's the company, like what studio makes those the trilogy? Lionsgate?
Or it's
Millennium?
It's like a sub studio that makes them, but Lionsgate
distributes. Yeah.
Is it Millennium?
Millennium Films.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone tweet at Millennium and Lionsgate, and if there is an Australian premiere, try and get us there.
Yeah, get us there.
Please.
And, we do the podcast. We can do an interview with them. Tell them that
Just
there's...
Gerard Butler sitting right here.
Dude, legit. We're going to try and get you guys specifically to that premiere. Because is it going to be the last one? Will they do another Has Fallen?
Gerard Butler's been saying it's like the Logan of the franchise. It's going to end it.
That's enough to get me in the cinema.
All right.
Day one.
Tell you what, from now on, we're going to start a countdown of every day. Is there a specific day in August when it's coming out? Or
let's just fact check that.
Because once there is, we're going to start a countdown of it's just this many days.
Just like
the countdown clock.
Every episode will be, we are now this many months away from...
That's our new intro.
Angel Has Fallen. Yeah.
For its American, August 23.
August 23, there you go.
Get
is
excited.
That Australian as well? Oh, it'll be around there anyway.
It'll be around August.
Sweet.
Dude, it turns out we get it like January 22.
Yeah.
Dude.
It gets delayed or something.
Devastated.
All right.
Speaking of...
Tweet at them.
Yeah. Speaking of trilogies, we won't be getting a Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill starring Jump Street trilogy because it looks like Sony wants to reboot it.
I didn't even hear about this
with
yet.
Tiffany Haddish.
And
wow, there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there any Chris Miller, Phil Lord involvement, or are they just taking it out of their hands?
They're just doing a...
There you go.
Look,
which is...
I love the Jump Street movies, But I couldn't care about this. But if Lord and Miller have some involvement, then I would be curious to check it out. I think
Yeah.
that could be the one thing that gets me there.
Or if it's sort of like a spin-off of those movies, like if Ice Cube was still in like this one or
Yeah,
something,
true, true.
I could be okay with it. But if it's just a straight up 21 Jump Street,
Yeah.
but the female version, like
It-
Ghostbusters or something,
Hard pass.
yeah,
They pull more of an Ocean's 8 where it's still got those sort of
Yeah.
ties.
yeah,
To me, since they cancelled the Men in Black Jump Street
Yeah.
crossover, I've kind of been like, well, they can't really do anything else. Like, they literally did all of the sequels in the second
Yeah.
one. Like, so, yeah, that would have been really interesting. It would have been a cool commentary on, spin-off, crossover,
Yeah.
universe type related movies.
yeah.
I think it would have been very meta.
Think-
But there you go.
Speaking of Men in Black, what did you think of the Men in Black International trailer?
It's a bad trailer, actually.
I
didn't
really
think it was really
disliked
good.
it.
Oh, I thought it was decent.
I'm
I'm not
I
excited
couldn't-
for it, but I'm just like, it
Like-
is what it is.
Like I don't want to hate a movie based on the trailer, but I hated that trailer. It
Yeah.
was so hard to watch. I just didn't want to. It was boring. It was
Did
not
you
funny.
make a trailer post on Movies of the Future with like clips from it and stuff?
Yeah.
So you even had to sit through it and like just keep doing
and watch
that.
it again
Yeah.
and then take screenshots. Oh my! It's so.
You had to
it's
find the
just-
best bits
just
of a bad
looks-
trailer.
It just looks so generic or just
Yeah.
every. Oh, and Chris Hemsworth just looks. He can be funny, but he just looks so not funny in that.
With his little ham.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you thought it was funny.
I thought it was fine.
I reckon it was a bad trailer for probably a decent movie.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm seeing like 70% Rotten Tomatoes. Like it'll be
Yeah.
sort of like a 3-star, 4-star movie.
I just feel like the director F. Gary Gray, who did Straight Outta Compton and Fate of the Furious, he hasn't got that sort of quirky sci-fi element
interesting
to his
choice, yeah.
He like you can tell it's going to be a good action movie, but just that action scene they showed in the trailer where they're putting the guns together and that, I didn't get that Men in Black vibe. That
Yeah.
I didn't even really get a Fast and Furious vibe from Fate of the Furious. It just seemed so out of place.
It's a spy
F-
thriller. It's like
F-
it's really different. Yeah, it's
F.
weird.
Gary Gray. No,
F. Gary Gray. No,
he
Gary,
did good
he's
with
probably
Straight
a
Outta
good guy.
Compton.
Nah,
Yeah.
he's good.
Moving on.
Yeah. What's next?
To James Bond, Rami Malek rumored to be the villain in the next James Bond movie.
I'm so in.
I'm in.
Ever since they announced Carrie, I can never get the last name right, but Fukunaga,
Fukunaga.
Fuk-
or something,
Funikawaga,
to direct.
Fanaqua, Funguana,
Fukunaga.
Fukunaga. From here on, we're just never gonna. Even if I find out what his real last name is, I'm not gonna say it. But ever since he was announced, I was actually really keen because Danny Boyle was cool.
Yeah.
Would have been keen for that, but I'm actually
Yeah.
more keen for this because after seeing Maniac, big fan of True Detective season 1.
Just that
I'm
real
keen.
thriller sort of element he could bring to a drama.
Yeah, I just think he's
yeah.
a really good director.
Yeah.
Hopefully he.
And I think he's really good at taking other people's scripts as well. Like Danny Boyle seems a bit more auteurish, where he really needs to write it himself.
yeah.
And I think that sounds like, even though it seemed like it was more of a casting thing that went wrong with his commitment to the movie. Yeah, I reckon that you can get a good script from I think they got back Purvis and Wade.
Yeah, the guys who did Skyfall Inspector.
Yeah, pretty much everything since GoldenEye, really.
Oh yeah.
I think it's 3 of them. It's like Purvis and Wade write the first draft, and I think his name's John Logan or John Harris or John something.
Yeah.
He does like the
John.
rewrite.
Yeah,
John
John.
does the rewrite, and I reckon, yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen to
Yeah.
see how they wrap it all up.
I also think Rami Malek has a lot of range as an actor too.
Yep, Mr. Robot, probably my favorite
Bohemian-
show.
And Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. Just gotta mention that in there.
Which was
And s-
crazy. It was so big as
Yeah.
a film, but also not because hey,
It's Queen.
Yeah. And speaking of Bond 25 again and mispronouncing names,
Leah
Seydoux.
Seydoux. I think it's Seydoux.
The Bond girl from Spectre is also
Yes.
returning for Bond 25, which is a rarity.
Yeah, they seem to be doubling down on tying all of them together and actually
Especially
wrapping
with the
up.
Vespa thing. Like they brought it back
Yeah.
in Spectre, and I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah, it's interesting. But I'm keen. Bond has never done this,
Bold.
and I
Yeah.
think after this, they're probably not going to do it again. They're probably just going to go back to just like, you know, sort of anthology
Yeah.
type, you know,
Yeah.
disconnected films. So I'm keen to see how they try to scrape
Try
it
to-
all together.
Try to
Yeah.
wrap up a Bond sort of character.
I
Yeah.
think she's gonna die. Bold prediction. I think she's gonna die.
Very On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the
That-
vibe I'm
that
getting
is
off
one
this.
of the worst movies.
I liked it.
You don't like On Her Majesty. All right, we're doing a Bond special.
No, we're just doing
Whoa.
Harry v Declan movies.
Really,
That
you
was-
don't like On Her Majesty's Secret
I
Service?
think I gave it an F in one of my
I've
reviews.
been on Harry's side for a lot of movies.
It is so bad.
It's one of my favorites. It's beautifully
it.
shot. If you watch that movie on Blu-ray,
And the ending got me too, because I was like, oh,
Yes.
it looks like he's about to settle down, but then that happens.
he's actually really good as Bond, George Lazenby.
Oh, sorry.
I don't remember it, so I have to watch it again. But
It is.
I liked it.
It
I
is
really did.
top 5 Bond movies. I'm
Ooh,
sorry,
okay.
It is,
but
it is probably down there with Die Another Day.
Die Another Day is pretty bad. But
Yeah.
On Her Majesty's Secret, you got to go back and give it.
Maybe I was
give it
just a
some
bit
love.
too young watching it. I
Yeah,
didn't
maybe you
appreciate
were
it.
like, this is so long.
It
It was
is
a long
It is.
movie.
It is long. It does drag a little bit. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But man, when he's playing that Scottish, like, you know, whatever is that, he has a funny name.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. Moving on.
Uh,
We keep going over.
Ryan Johnson's next movie, Knives Out, also has a release date now, November this year.
Probably, and we'll be talking about it later. Definitely one of my most anticipated
It's a-
movies,
yeah.
2019.
It's shaping up to be something
It's
pretty
got
cool.
such a huge cast, and
We'll probably talk about it more later, but yeah, it's nice to know that it is coming out that quickly. They got
Yeah.
it. They got the ball rolling in about a year. They got it shot and out. So
Yeah, they
Hopefully.
finished filming, haven't they?
probably, yeah. I'm glad Brian Johnson would just, bam. I feel like it was a script he probably had for a while, but the thing is, and maybe we'll talk about this later, but the interesting thing about having it released there is I think that because he had so much prep time on The Last Jedi, they pretty much had like a whole, like it was over a year of post on that. Like they finished filming, I think, in like November of 2016, and then it was
Yeah.
released in December of 2017.
So he probably
Yeah, it was.
yeah, so he just
So he's been chilling really for a while. So yeah,
it's
I
no
feel like
surprise,
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's got James Bond, Daniel Craig in it, with
Yeah.
Chris Evans and Jamie Lee Curtis,
Lakeith.
and Michael Shannon, Lakeith
the
Stanfield.
key.
Yeah, Christopher Plummer.
It's gonna be amazing. All right, what's next?
What is next?
Pixar.
Yes. Chris Pratt and Tom Holland are going to voice characters in Pixar's new original movie, Onward, which comes
Glad.
out March 2020, I think.
Oh,
Oh.
glad they're doing something original.
Yeah.
They've been in this kind of the sequel bin recently.
Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4.
Yeah,
What else?
which have all
Yeah.
been good, but I am excited for something new.
Yeah.
I think it's
Um,
about
yeah.
magic and elves and a sort of, I think. There's not that many details, I don't think.
Well, he's coming out in 2020.
Yeah. Keen.
I mean, yeah, we'll find out more later. Probably more around sort of Disney. What is it?
D23.
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 I was going to D24. D23. Yeah, we'll probably find out more
Yeah.
then. Excited.
And speaking, this movie probably won't be coming out for quite a while
Long
longer
time.
now. Uncharted, the movie adaptation.
Interestingly enough, you can actually find the script. I think you find 2 different drafts of the script because this movie's been in development since 2009, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Around the time the second game came out. And you can read 2 different drafts. One of them's okay, but one of them's really good. One of them takes a lot of liberties with the IP, but one of them is like really faithful and original and really
Yeah.
good. So
So director Sean Levy dropped
yeah,
out.
he's out. So
That's a
I
shame.
think they just need to
Yeah.
stop. But it was interesting that they got Tom Holland and decided to go for the prequel route.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I don't
I think that's actually a better thing than
Okay.
trying to do
Just
what the
straight up,
games
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But I also am interested about how much that fan film has affected everything.
Yeah, because I've seen that fan film. It's pretty good.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a dream of mine. I've been
Nathan Fillion, Stephen
Oh.
Lang.
oh yes. Ever since I got really big into Firefly, I've been trying to get.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been just dreaming about him being
Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake. So we got it.
And
And
we
I can rest
should
happy.
finish up the big small news with a nice segue into our topic of the month, which is most anticipated movies for 2019, by talking about the Us trailer.
I haven't seen the trailer.
I
and
only watched.
don't want to.
Oh.
Yeah, I only watched half because I was like, now I know what it's about. Now I know who's in it. I don't need to know anymore.
That's the problem with doing movies of the future, is that I need to watch it to
Yeah.
post it. And
What do you think, as someone who's actually?
I
watched
felt they kind of gave away a bit too much.
I reckon horror trailers are tough because you really have to. The only things you can sell are the big scares, and the big scares are what are the big spoilers. So
they. I sort of have an idea of what the plot will. I know there's going to be lots of twists in it, but I have a pretty good idea of, like, from start to finish of what it's going to say.
damn. Well, I'm glad we didn't watch it.
Yeah.
We lucked out. Thank you for bearing the burden
Thanks for
of
copying
reporting the news. Oh, interestingly enough, speaking of Jordan Peele, the Academy Award-winning writer of Best Original Screenplay last year, the scripts for the award season are all being released right now. So if you're interested in any films, I was reading through the Into the Spider-Verse screenplay recently, which is really good. Interesting how you can see how they describe a lot of that. Like,
I always find that fascinating in scripts, how they describe a shot.
Especially animation and that movie, because they're throwing so much at you. It's interesting how especially how they describe the montages, the sequences where it's like, hi, I'm Peter B. Parker, and let's do this one more time, and they talk about that. It's really interesting how they describe such a visual movie on paper.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend that, along with the Vice screenplay. But I reckon that's really good as well. Are you all good? So all of those scripts are available. Go to probably simplyscripts.com, I think would be the best place.
Okay.
And check out a lot of those because they're really interesting.
Yeah.
It's always fun to watch or read a screenplay before you watch the movie, especially if it's not available yet, like a lot of these Oscar movies are.
For sure.
So if you just can't wait to see,
you can just read it instead.
yeah, I don't know. What's The Favorite? Like something like The Favorite, which I'm keen to see.
I
But
want to see that. Yeah.
go read the script, maybe. Maybe it'll be fun. What's next? Topic of the month.
Topic of the month.
Topic of the month.
Ooh.
Boom! This what you've all been waiting for.
Graphics. What
The
are your
most anticipated movies.
what are your number one?
Mine's gonna be different from both of you.
All right, so
Well, how should we do this?
I think we get out the main things out of the way, right? Obviously, Avengers Endgame is like boom, like that's a given, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to go through. I went through every movie that was coming out, and I made a list of the films that I think a lot of people don't know are coming out or haven't heard about, and I wanted to kind of spotlight some of those.
Yeah,
So
I've got a list
my
here
list
too.
could have been 20 movies long, so I tried to move some of the bigger ones that are more of a given out of the way, and try and focus on films that I actually like. I was reminded as I was going through the list, I was like, oh, I'm actually really keen for that.
Yeah.
And they moved up my list more and more. So do you want to just kind of go one at a time, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Go through.
What are our number ones?
We'll
start.
Dragon.
My number one is John Wick 3. Paradise
Yes!
Garden. I am so excited for this. The first one came out of nowhere for me because it was just so simple.
Yep.
And then you learn about the Continental, all this stuff. And then chapter 2 was just so big, like world building.
So much like better. And
Yeah.
I don't know how they even
And then
did
how
that,
they
but
set it up for the third one. It has just got me so excited. It looks like
So
2
good.
hours of just killing.
I'm ready. And the cast is getting
The
better.
cast is
And
getting
they're
better.
bringing back literally everyone. Even people like I
And
was
it's got
like,
some people from the Raid too,
Yeah.
which were some of my favorite movies. So yeah, just a little something up there. That's my
my mic's being a bit weird. Apologies if my mic sounds a bit weird. Very excited. I just want them to drop the weird subtitle because
Same.
it was like,
it's like John Wick Chapter 2 and John Wick 3.
it's like really kind of strange,
Yeah.
like an OCD way, but also
Yeah.
like Parabellum.
Yeah.
Why? No, like
No,
John Wick 3. I get it.
Yeah.
Like you don't really need an intriguing, like, Ragnarok type thing, where it's just like,
Yeah.
no, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I'm gonna bet that it goes before it gets released,
I'm hoping. Yeah.
but we'll see.
Same. Yeah.
Maybe not.
I'm a too much of a fanboy. I'm most anticipated for Avengers Endgame.
Oh, me too. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a lot.
just-
There's not really more
We're
to
probably
add.
going to
but
mention it on every
agreed.
episode until
Yeah.
it comes out. So
That is my number one for sure.
it's a close second for me.
And then
Close second.
Close
for me
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be Star Wars Episode 9. So.
That I'm
Yeah, agreed.
But I suppose the next non-big one for me would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
yes.
Because Tarantino.
Glad
I
you
don't
brought
need to
that up.
say
I
anymore.
couldn't quite fit it on mine, but yes,
Yeah,
very, very
it's-
excited.
couldn't fit on mine.
The
but
cast. Like,
Just
it's enormous.
Tarantino, DiCaprio,
I'm intrigued about the
DiCaprio and
story.
Brad Pitt together.
Like the story. That's what wrote
Mansons.
to me.
Yeah,
the
I
Mansons.
Yeah.
agree. 60s
It's gonna be
America.
Yeah.
And I think it is. It's definitely going to be very sort of political. I reckon it's going to be, maybe not because he tries not to kind of do that, but
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
I'm very excited, and I'm glad he's moved away from the westerns for now. We've
Yeah.
had two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do something new.
Yeah.
Excited.
What's your most anticipated?
Well, I don't really have a number. I mean, the number one is Avengers Endgame, obviously. But going through my list here, I wanted to talk about Missing Link.
that new Laker film.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a huge. Which one is on that one? I am a huge Laker fan, and just stop motion fan in general. I actually have two stop motion films. The other one that didn't quite make the list was Farmageddon, the Shaun the Sheep movie.
Oh.
Still definitely keen for that, the sequel, because Ardman is the king. Laker is pretty close though,
Yeah.
especially after the Kubo.
I haven't seen
close.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go to watch Kubo.
They also did Paranorman and did they do that?
Yep.
And
Yep.
Caroline.
Box Trolls.
That's right.
Yeah, Coraline.
But none
yeah.
of them have been huge box office hits, which is a shame.
Stop motion rarely is. Like Early Man
Yeah.
wasn't that big. Even the Shaun the Sheep movie, I don't think that was that big.
I Love Dogs do.
Isle of Dogs
think it
was
did pretty-
alright.
I think it did okay.
I don't think it cracked 100 mil though.
No.
I think it made like 80 or something.
Yeah, which I guess is alright, but it definitely wasn't like a Grand Budapest, Moonrise
Yeah.
Kingdom level of success for Wes. But yeah, I do love stop motion, and Missing Link, if you haven't heard about it, it's the newest film from Laker. I think it has, I'm forgetting the cast now.
Hugh Jackman and Zach Galifianakis, I think.
Oh, nice. I'm so keen.
Yeah.
So if you haven't heard about that, get
Uh,
excited.
I saw the trailer. Looked okay. Yeah.
There's a trailer? You're kidding.
Came out like a month or more ago.
Well,
Just gonna like cut that and just suddenly come in with like, yeah, dude, trailer was great.
And cut and watch it now.
Oh my
Come back.
god. All right. Well,
Cut.
now I'm like, do I even watch it? Because I missed it. I'm definitely gonna watch like a bit of the trailer actually. How did I miss that? Thank God you guys
Someone
are here.
hasn't been following Movies of the Future. Follow us on Instagram.
But yeah, go watch
Yeah.
the trailer then, because I will. Anyways, yeah, moving on. Dragon.
Something I'm excited for that I think I watched the trailer for maybe a month ago or whenever it came out, and I was completely blown away by it. Brightburn. Brightburn is basically takes Superman's origins and says, what
So
if he isn't a hero? What if he just turns into something?
What if it's
I think we've got like
Worse.
the same list. This is great. Yeah.
Like
That sounds so good, man.
Brightburn, I'm just so excited because I was just scrolling through IMDb and I just saw it up there and I'm like, what's this? And it looked like it was Elizabeth Banks holding like a red thing, which was obviously the baby.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, that looks Superman-y. And then
It
I
is,
watched it
yeah.
and I'm like, oh, and that last shot.
I haven't seen the trailer.
Oh, you haven't?
Is it a
Okay.
spoiler, this last shot, or
It's-
you can just tell me? It's in the trailer.
It sort of
It's in the trailer.
shows his
It's-
powers.
Oh,
yeah.
just bring the mic up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows his powers.
It's pretty much just like, and there's a sound that you just hear. It's like a bone crack sort of. It's like, and it just, I get you, and it just shows Brightburn.
I love watching people's trailer reactions to it because you know what's coming and you're watching it and then it happens and they're like, "Whoa!"
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
I'm
crazy.
very excited.
Yeah.
It looks
Is
good.
it the trailer? Would I be able to watch it like not super spoilery or?
I guess the movie feels basic. Like it's.
I reckon
sort
there's
of-
not. There's always trailers that blow people away and then watch the movie and it's like, well, I sort of saw it in the trailer then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
So maybe
Don't watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go in and
I
When
watched.
did it get released?
Oh,
March.
something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Oh,
it's
so
pretty-
soon.
yeah.
Alright, very, very.
Well, I
keen.
think it was meant to come out end of this year.
Yeah, but
Because it's produced by James Gunn.
Yeah, that's why I heard about
and
it.
it was going to get revealed at Comic-Con, but it got...
That's right. That was the same day that all of the...
so they didn't...
the whole
and then so they
fiasco.
delay the trailer, therefore delaying release date. So
well, I
that's a
hope it
shame.
does well. I hope it
yeah,
doesn't get
that's what I'm
buried.
thinking. It might hurt box office.
We'll see. It might be more of a cult sort
Comes
of
out the
thing.
same month as Us, I think.
Ooh.
So it's like two sort of smaller...
To me, it almost sounds like something that would end up getting bought by Netflix, but it's
I
not
get what
bad
you
enough.
mean.
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
not. It's probably good enough that they
Well,
reckon it can do it right,
Netflix bought Annihilation, which was a...
which is a really good film.
Still
Yeah, that's
haven't
true.
seen it,
Tune in to our top 10 favourite films.
Yes.
Bit of a plug. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Declan, what's
yeah.
next?
The Lion King remake.
Yes,
That did not crack my top 10. But
It's not
I
on
am
my top
excited for
10.
it.
But
it's not my most anticipated Disney film, like Disney, like sort of live action
Oh,
film
yeah.
of the year, because there's 3. But I'm still excited because it's The Lion King, man. I mean, it's gonna be amazing.
That trailer, like, it was a shot for shot copy of the.
Yeah.
What do you think of this debate, CGI and live action?
It's a CGI movie. That's why it's strange,
Yeah.
is because it's like everyone's like, oh yeah, it's a live action remake. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a higher quality version of animation.
Yeah, and I'm
3D.
worried about Jon Favreau's choice to go realistic looking animals.
I agree.
Like, you see
I
in the original Lion King, like the amount of emotions sort of on their face, whereas photorealistic animals couldn't. I don't know if they can capture.
Because I
that.
watched Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle.
I was just gonna bring this up
I
because
haven't
it's.
seen it.
What do you
can
reckon?
see Christian Bale's face.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Bagheera.
yeah.
You can see Andy Serkis in Baloo. You
Yeah.
can see. Yeah, it was just amazing, the acting through
The
the
one
animals.
that's weird for me is that the albino wolf, like
Yeah.
this, like you can really see like this like kid in this wolf. It's really strange.
Yeah. And I'm just worried by the shots, or the way the Lion King trailer ends with him roaring with Simba roaring it. I'm like, it just looks like a David
lion,
Attenborough
yeah.
shot of a lion
Yeah.
roaring. It's like I don't see Donald Glover in
I
Simba.
think it's an interesting line to draw because I watched the Jungle Book, Jon Favreau's version, and then I think it was about a month later, watched Mowgli, and the difference between, sort of like very sort of emotionless, and yet also like kind of like going for more humor. And then watching Mowgli, where it's like I'm getting more of the performance and the humans, but it's also really strange.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird
Yeah.
looking. So it's finding the line between not being like uncanny valley, just kind of creepy levels of
Yeah.
human faces on animals, but also it being expressive enough so that you're not just like, so that you can be sold by the emotion, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a. Well, I thought the Favreau's Jungle Book was very good. So
Yeah.
I'm sure the Lion. How can you stuff up a Lion King remake?
Yeah, exactly. The music will be there.
Saving Grace.
We know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of that, my most anticipated Disney remake is Dumbo.
I still
Even
haven't seen
more than The
trailer.
Lion King, I reckon, because I've seen The Lion King. I can always go back and watch The Lion King.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be very much the same. I think just the combination of Tim Burton, I'm still a massive fan. He has had a bit more of a hit or miss recently. I think it was, what is it? The Home for Children, Miss...
Miss
Miss
Peregrine's Home for
Peregrine's.
Peculiar
I
Children.
didn't even watch it.
Me neither, didn't see it. He did The Big Eyes, which
Yeah,
was
Amy
interesting.
Adams,
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
I never
Alice in
saw that.
Wonderland was pretty good though. Actually,
I
liked
liked it. Yeah, but
But
'cause
he is such an auteur, and he's got such a distinctive style. And during the year, I got to go back through sort of Sleepy Hollow, Batman, obviously, Batman Returns. I was just kind of going through all those films. Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice. I watched again, which is great.
I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Wow, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just got a real sort of love and appreciation for his really just specific, real gothic German expressionist style. And yeah, I'm just really keen to see what he does with Dumbo, which is this kind of revered but also very strange sort of, classic Disney film.
Have you watched any of the trailers or?
I watched the initial teaser trailer, which really doesn't have a lot in it at all.
Yeah.
But it's really cool seeing how they put together the cast, what they're wearing. Like Michael Keaton looks like totally different, I think, from what I
Yeah.
Watched that ages ago.
I watched the second trailer and I was like,
Is it good? Looks good.
Yeah. They gave. I don't know anything about the Dumbo story or.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
original,
me
but
neither, really.
There's a couple shots towards the end of the trailer which it's just like, why did you give that away?
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
So
I haven't seen the trailers.
yeah. So
Nor have I seen the original.
Don't watch the second trailer. It's a really good trailer, but there's a couple.
That's
yeah.
alright. That's alright.
There's a couple shots where it's just like, oh, why'd you show that? Why'd you show
Okay,
that?
sweet. I'm glad I didn't watch it.
But it was so sad, the trailer. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm excited. I know that story a lot less, and I think that it's a very short original film. I think it's only just over an hour. So, to see how he brings his style to it, what he does with it, I'm really interested.
Because it's one of Disney's oldest sort of ones, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's about this elephant, but it's got this human cast, and it's just interesting how they'll play that off. Less photorealistic, a little bit more, stylized. I think. I'm super keen for Dumbo, and that's the first one out of all of them.
Shall we just name off some of the sort of blockbustery type films that get out of the way?
Yeah, if you want.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters. That looks
Keen.
pretty good. Fast and Furious spin-off, Hobbs and Shaw.
Very keen.
I'm excited for that.
Actually, that cracked my top 10, I think.
That just missed it.
It's in my top 10.
Big fan of the director. Obviously, John Wick.
It'll just be
Deadpool.
a perfect. I just hope they really just take it silly, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Idris Elba is amazing. Keen.
It should
Okay.
be really good.
Vanessa Kirby was really good in Fallout as well.
Yeah, she was.
Excited.
Shazam.
Yep.
That
Excited.
should be good. Captain Marvel, which we sort of talked about before.
Yeah, it's so low on my list.
It's gonna be good though. Like, it will be good.
Undoubtedly. Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Super keen.
Yeah. Dark Phoenix.
I'm
long-awaited.
I'm personally excited for that. It cracked my top 10 just.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's something about X-Men. Like the franchise.
Yeah.
It's
last
had its
one.
bumps, but like
Just
the franchise just feels so different compared to other superhero movies.
watching the trailers, just like I'm so sick of this series by now.
Yeah.
Like Apocalypse was fine, and then now it's just Dark Phoenix. It's like, just reboot it.
There you go.
I'm excited
That's
for it.
me personally.
Yeah. There you go.
It Chapter 2.
Yeah, I definitely am keen for all these movies. They're just not quite cracking my top 10.
It's just like I'll see them, but it's not like.
Yeah, I mean, I am really keen for It Chapter 2 though, but it's like,
Aladdin.
I am really surprisingly not that excited for Aladdin. Like, I thought I would be, but
the original.
the original's great.
Neither.
Yeah.
To me, Guy Ritchie's amazing. His style fits perfectly. I totally see why they went with that. I am excited to see Will Smith as the genie. It's just, when I think about, there's so much coming out in 2019 that it just doesn't get close to the top, but it's still going to be fun.
Oh.
It's going to make all the money.
Kingsman, the great game.
That's right.
really-
That comes
I'm
out.
I'm amazed it even comes
That's
out.
the prequel.
I'm really
Kingsman.
excited for that one.
I feel like that's going to not end up coming out in 2019 for some reason. Unless they've already started shooting. But
No, they haven't. But I think they did set a November release
nah,
date.
it feels like it'll end up being February 2020.
It'll have
Probably.
to, yeah.
That's what I reckon. It'll get
Because
too
I think
crowded.
Matthew Vaughn wants to shoot the Kingsman prequel and
Back to
Kingsman 3 back to back before.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but they've started already assembling a cast for the great game. So
Oh well, we'll see what happens. How many more blockbusters have you got?
I don't know about Blockbuster, but I'm excited for Rocket Man.
I was
The
just
Elton-
about
the
to
Elton
bring that up,
John
Taron
movie.
Egerton segue.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be they're gonna be really glad that they got that on the way after Bohemian Rhapsody, especially with the same director.
Yeah.
The studio's just like yes, but I don't know if it'll have the same success, and I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like it'll be alright.
Elton John's story isn't as powerful as
No.
Freddie Mercury's.
No,
not to
it's-
take
it's
anything
not.
away from Elton John.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Elton John was just better in Kingsman 2. His best role.
Yeah.
But
His best screen appearance. yeah.
Drag and I were joking. We hope there's a sequence of Elton at Live Aid, and then we can have a Rami Malek in that cameo.
Oh, they try to do a like biopic cinematic universe,
Yeah.
and it all connects around Live Aid with all the bands. That's
Yes.
crazy.
So sick.
That's actually crazy. Yeah.
I want to talk about the new Terminator movie.
Yes, I did want to talk about that
It's
as well.
nowhere on my list.
Not on my top 10, but definitely a movie I'm intrigued about.
Yes, I don't know how to feel.
Because it's a great franchise. They're taking an interesting approach with it. Tim Miller finally gets to do his time travel assassin movie because he didn't get to do Deadpool 2,
Yeah.
which was a Terminator movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
The Halloween tack. I didn't like Halloween, the new one.
No.
Hopefully, this new one works better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Also, the Joker movie that's coming out.
Very, very,
Another
very excited.
intriguing.
I'm really excited for that one.
I'm not sure how to feel about it. I don't know.
I'm very keen. Anything else? Because I've just got a bunch of like
one
small
that's going
films
to come
rattle
out
through.
this month. Glass.
Yeah, excited for Glass.
I haven't seen Unbreakable.
It's funny because there's gonna be so many people suddenly watching Unbreakable. Like, is it on Netflix?
I don't think so.
Because if it was, then there's just gonna be huge
seen
numbers
Split.
on that film.
Well,
yeah.
it's probably on the
Yeah.
American Netflix, but
yeah.
Australia.
Because after seeing Split and the ending happen, I'm like, I'm so lost. But I don't know. I just haven't checked out Unbreakable.
Yeah.
But I'm still very excited for Glass.
No, it's gonna be good. Real quick, I'll just rattle through just kind of the rest of my top 10.
Yeah.
A lot of sort of films that I kind of forgot about and then suddenly got really excited about as I was
Okay.
remembering. So first up, Chaos Walking.
Yes.
Daisy Ridley, Tom
Tom
Holland, based on the book. Doug Liman, I think, is directing.
Yep.
Who obviously did, I think he did Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Edge of
Oh, I
Tomorrow,
love
Born
it.
Identity.
And isn't he? Oh no, that's the guy that did Oblivion's doing Top Gun. For a second, I got confused.
Joe Kosinski or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but definitely Chaos Walking. I'm actually really excited for that movie. It just seems like
have you
it's.
read the
I feel
book?
like it's not going to make a lot of money. I feel like it'll kind of float on the radar.
Have you read the book?
I haven't read the book. Is the book good?
No, I haven't read it. I don't
No,
know.
me neither.
Well, I think it's going to get delayed, the movie, because they need to do reshoots, apparently.
Oh,
And Tom
yeah.
Holland's free now, but Daisy Ridley's not free
Oh,
till
true.
February when Star Wars finishes, and it's meant to come out March, so it'll probably get delayed.
Well, there you go. I
You
feel
heard
like
it first here on.
it will be troubled. It probably won't do very well when it comes out, but I'm still very excited for it. The Beach Bum, probably in my top
I've
4.
heard about this. I'm kind of excited. For
So Harmony Korine, who did Spring Breakers, Kids, way back in the day.
Spring Breakers though.
I think Spring Breakers is awesome.
Hate it.
Well, it's a love or hate it movie.
Yeah.
But he is awesome. Big fan of his. And so the Beach Bums basically Matthew McConaughey, Snoop Dogg. I think there's someone else in it that I'm forgetting. But
Zac Efron's in it.
Zac Efron, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's super keen. It's just going to be a totally bizarre movie, but I'm just a big fan of Harmony Korine. So there's the Beach Bum. I feel like it's slipped under the radar for a lot of people. So we'll see how that goes. Pet Cemetery.
I hated the trailer. I thought it looked atrocious.
Personally, I read the book this year because I had a big Stephen King binge, which we're going to talk about in the next segment. But I watched the original Pet Sematary movie. Wasn't a big fan. Doesn't really quite do the book justice, I think. So I'm keen to see what they do with this one. Might not be good, but I'm still excited.
Yeah.
And then I think like the last ones, because we talked. The last one that we haven't talked about is Ford v Ferrari,
With Christian Bale and
Yep.
Matt Damon. No.
which is James Mangold's follow up to Logan.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, Matt Damon. Just the story of literally like Ford versus Ferrari way back in the day. These car manufacturers, bit of a rivalry. It's surrounded around a race or something specific.
But yeah, with the caliber of talent involved,
it just sounds really, really good. And yeah, I'm just really excited, especially after seeing Christian Bale recently, with Vice, and Mowgli. Let's not forget.
yes.
Classic film. Just very excited for that. And who doesn't like a good biopic / car movie?
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a few sci-fi movies coming out next year. Ad Astra. Have you heard about?
So
Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones, isn't it?
Yeah. Legit. I had that on my thing here. I just didn't mention it. Yeah, no, I'm very keen for that as well.
And also Gemini Man. a Will Smith action movie with
Oh.
Ang Lee directing.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So those will be pretty
Doesn't
cool.
New Mutants come out this
Oh.
year?
Apparently,
Apparently.
I'm not excited for that movie anymore.
There you go.
I just want to watch Dark Phoenix.
There's also this is the ones I'm not that excited for, but I thought were like actually interesting. The Addams Family's getting like an animated
I heard
remake.
about that,
Heard
yeah.
about that.
Has a great cast though, so
Okay.
we'll see. It might actually be alright. The Woman in the Window is like Joe Wright's next film.
Okay.
It's got a soundtrack by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who are just awesome. From Nine Inch Nails, they did the soundtracks for majority of David Fincher's movies. But it's a horror movie. So there's a lot of good horror movies coming out. And there's one last film that I want to leave it with, other than Knives Out, because we talked about Knives Out.
Yeah, we've talked about it so much.
Didn't know this movie was going to exist, right? Until I went through the list of movies that were coming out. Found it right at the very bottom. So you know the musical Cats, right?
Yeah, they're making a
Yeah.
movie.
They're making a movie. Right? And I didn't. You guys are probably up on this.
Idris
I had
Elba.
no idea.
It's
Yeah.
got quite a cast.
So legit, I have the cast list here. So if anybody doesn't know about which one's on, which camera should I go onto? All right. If anybody doesn't know about the Cats movie that's coming out, doesn't matter if you're not a fan of the musical, doesn't matter if you've ever seen the musical. I haven't, no idea. I read through the cast list and I was sold because this is such a bizarre cast for a movie. So you have Jennifer Hudson, Taylor Swift, James Corden, Ian McKellen, Idris Elba, Judi Dench, Rebel Wilson, Jason Derulo, and then probably a whole bunch of people that I just don't know but are actually really successful. Yes. Jason Derulo, James Corden. This cast shouldn't exist. Idris Elba is in a movie with Jason Derulo and Taylor Swift. Even if it's going to be terrible.
From the director
That's-
of Les Miserables.
Hmm? No, it's live action. I'm pretty sure it's live action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it?
I kind of missed all
And
the
it's
other details.
From the director of Les Miserables and the Danish Girl. So
It just sounds crazy. So even if it's terrible, I'm still going to have to see it just because it's just like, what is this?
yeah.
So yeah. I like cats. The animals. So there you go. If you like cats.
More of a dog person myself.
Oh shit. But there you go. Those are my films. Oh, and the last one is the follow up to the director of Hereditary is doing another film already, which is coming out this year, and the script is available online actually already, so you can read that.
All right.
There's a lot of movies actually. The Irishman, the script's online.
Oh, really? When's that coming out? Is that coming out this
That's
year?
this year. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, I'm looking it up now. But yeah, it's really interesting. If you guys are really keen for a movie and you can't wait, sometimes if the script's been kicking around for a while, it'll be online. Like Ready Player One script was online a couple of years before it came out. Things like that. Yeah.
Huh.
Ari Aster is the director, and the film is Midsummer, coming out in August 2019. So if you can't wait, go and read the script. But it's a horror movie, so it'll be very visual. So
Yeah.
there you go. Any more you guys have?
No, I
To
think
wrap
we
it up?
should- Oh.
What'd you say? Oh yeah, we'll talk about that probably in the special a bit more. But yeah, I've already seen Under the Silver Lake. It's really good, and I don't know if it gets an Australian release
Yeah.
in
Probably
theaters,
not.
but if not, it is online if you know where to look, and it's really good.
Not
So-
that we're telling you to, because
No.
support the film industry.
No, support the film industry. But if you can find a showing somewhere, like theaters, if you live overseas, if you live in France where it was released, it might even be out on digital. There might be places you can get it digitally.
Probably. Yeah.
It might show up on a plane you're on one day
Yeah.
if you're traveling. But it is out. It is out somewhere. So I'm sure there's somewhere where you can watch it legally. Hopefully. If not, wait till April, I think, and watch it in the US.
Yeah.
All right, we made it through our.
Topic of the month.
All right, there we go. We'll see if we manage to fit that all in, because this episode. Oh no, we're actually on time.
Oh,
So that's all
Really?
right.
dude, it feels.
Yeah, we're actually on time. All right, so jumping through, you need to see this graphic. Next topic. excuse my microphone for being really frustrating. The final segment for the day is You Need to See This, where we take an underrated or not very... hang on, what's the word that we had the other day? Overlooked. A segment where we take an underlooked or overseen...
You get what we mean.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
a movie that didn't get the attention it should.
Yes, a movie that doesn't get the attention that is
Deserves.
underrated or overlooked. Something that we want to recommend to you guys, and we'll try to make it easy to find. It's not just going to be a film that is just impossible. You have to comb through old cult DVD stores to dig up. We'll try and make it easy for you. So I went for one that is pretty much available everywhere on Netflix, because it is a Netflix original film. And it kind of sums up all of my 2018 in film. I had a big kind of obsession with the director and the source material for this. So Gerald's Game. Fantastic film, available on Netflix, directed by Mike Flanagan, now of Haunting of Hill House and Dr. Sleep fame. I got you guys to watch it before we did this, so we can all discuss it.
Yeah.
You can discuss it. I'll bump up this mic real loud. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. It's like I'm interviewing you about this film. So anyways, definitely going to recommend Gerald's Game. If you haven't seen it, please do. If you're a fan of horror, it's a must-watch. If you're not a fan of horror, maybe don't watch it, but I would still recommend it to you anyways. It might scar you for life, but it's a good scar. It's a scar that you can be proud of. It's a good-looking scar. First of all, I just want to know what you guys think about it. Do you guys actually like the movie? Do you think it deserves to be seen?
I watched it when it came out, and I actually really liked it. I like really small, contained movies that are in sort of one location.
Yeah.
And it very much is that.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was just... You're just hooked sort of straight away.
Yeah. It's a great setup.
Yeah. And you just want to know how she's going to get out of the situation.
Yeah, so I should probably go through the basic gist of the movie. I don't want to give anything away, because I think the best part about it is that it sets itself up to be one thing, and then it just kind of does away with expectations in a really interesting way. It moves around its sort of conceit very well. But basically, it's about this middle-aged husband and wife couple, as opposed to I guess all the other types of couples, I suppose. But a husband and a wife, middle-aged. They head out to this sort of like holiday home out in the middle of sort of like the woods, but it's near a beach, so it's just way out. Husband whips out the handcuffs, because he's like, this is good, this is gonna work.
Because he's seen 50 Shades of Grey.
Because he's seen 50 Shades, he's seen the whole trilogy. And he handcuffs her to the bed and then has a heart attack and dies. And so she's trapped on the bed in the middle of nowhere with her dead husband, and there's no one coming around for at least the next couple of weeks. Stuck in handcuffs on the bed. Just bring the mic closer, I guess. Stuck in handcuffs on the bed, and things kind of go from there. And it sounds like, when I initially heard about it, it was like kind of 127 hours. You're like, all right, she's gonna have to find a way off the bed. It's going to be a classic survival story, but it's really not. It really goes to places that you just don't expect. You're like, all right, how are they going to fill 2 hours with just her in a room stuck on a bed? And it goes to so many interesting places. Really great themes, really genuinely scary. There are specific images from the film that just seared into my brain, and they were for like weeks. So good that I didn't even really want to watch it again, because I thought it might kind of ruin some of the surprise of it. And there's one of probably the most disgusting gore-related scenes out of any movie that I've seen in ages that will just probably make you want to vomit. So yeah, it's just really, really good. What did you guys think?
Well, I'm not a huge horror guy.
Yeah.
But watching it, I really liked it. Like, I latched onto the movie, and yeah, it doesn't go in ways where you'd think it would go, because it's sort of basic. You think about it, and then things start unfolding, and I'm like, oh, so it's going there, and so much happens, and like you said, with that gore thing, I like just before we started this episode, I watched it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's like still
fresh, yeah.
So, and that gore scene, I was like,
yeah.
that was intense. That was hard to get through.
Yep. No, it's good. Any other thoughts, Declan? Just enjoy it.
Yeah, it was just a solid little
All right,
movie.
that's really good. Basically, they then sort of started a fascination with Mike Flanagan, who is now doing Dr. Sleep.
He's the director of Gerald's Game,
Yeah, he's the director of Gerald's Game. He adapted it from a book by Stephen King. So I went back and I read the book. Book's really, really good. I actually prefer the movie. The movie makes some interesting changes that I like more in terms of the characters themselves, but very faithful to the book, actually. And I then started going through all of Stephen King's books and got hooked on Stephen King, which is never a bad thing. And also, I got hooked on Mike Flanagan, went back, watched all of his movies, starting from like Absentia all the way through like Before I Wake, Oculus, Hush, obviously, is another great Netflix horror film. Even Ouija, Origin of Evil is really, really good, even though the first Ouija film, Ouija, however you say it. First one's not very good, but he did the sequel, and it's like a prequel, really, really good. And then he did Haunting of Hill House, which I think is probably the best TV show that's been released, probably since Mr. Robot, I reckon. Like, original. I guess it's based off a book, but it's really not based off the book. It's so good. I was watching it again last night. Great. And now he's doing Dr. Sleep.
The Shining sequel.
Kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
More of the book. More of a sequel to the book, I guess. But yeah, just a couple of things I wanted to bring up, and before we'll finish this off. I think the things you need to look out for with him are his use of sort of slow reveal scares. Like he tries to do away with jump scares a lot of the time. He does still have them, but I think what makes his horror films work really well is slow reveal scares. Like there's that one specific thing in Gerald's Game where it's just like, you're like, you can't really see something, but maybe it's there, and it's slowly like you start to realize. It's so good. I think something that he does, which I think is really smart, is he makes you scared for the cut, like to cut back. So like you'll see someone looking at something, and it builds an intensity and an anticipation for cutting to reveal what it is. So even that is really, really smart. Things hiding in plain sight. But I think the thing that hooks you the most is he's really good on character and themes and emotions, and he makes sure everything's tied down in something that's believable and really based in sort of like the arc of the character. So go check it out. That's my little plug for Gerald's Game. And next month, one of these guys, I don't know who it is, but we'll pick at random. Will bring a film.
I've already sort of got ideas, and it's amazing how many Netflix original movies there are.
Yeah.
Not many people.
Ah, sweet. So it's good going with Netflix as well, because everyone pretty much has a way to watch them. So
should just be called, you need to see this on Netflix.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, hopefully it'll change up a bit. But yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think. Send us your thoughts to the email address below, and maybe we'll read out some of your thoughts on the next episode. If you really enjoyed it. And if you hated it, then please let me know. That'd be fascinating. And we'll probably do a Movies of the Future post, so maybe you can check it out there. Yeah, that's it. We're into the conclusion. All right. Well, I'll just wrap this up really quickly, I guess. Thanks for checking out the first episode. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it.
We are.
We had a lot of fun.
We're down one mic, but we'll have this one working for the next bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with us. The show, I feel like it'll definitely evolve as we're going.
We'll get better at tightening up and cutting off the stuff that doesn't need to be talked about as much.
Yeah, the fat, and just seeing what works, what doesn't work.
We'll get used to segueing better,
the segueing is fantastic though. You've really found a sweet spot with the segue. So I don't think you can get much better.
I try and order them in like the Angel Has
Fallen
to like 21 Jump
true.
Street. I was like, that's a complete trilogy. Now that's not going to be.
I would have never thought about that. That's really smart. So yeah.
And
I'm excited for more.
Going from Bond 25 to Knives Out because Daniel Craig.
You had it already. So yes, thank you for checking us out. This has been Movies Are the Future,
Yes.
a podcast that will, as we continue going through, bring up some different things. We won't just be talking about what we're looking forward to. I think next month we'll have a new topic of conversation. Who knows what it'll be? We'll see what happens, but we'll be kind of rotating the sort of topic around between us. So it should be fun. We'll also have a special coming out in a couple of weeks, which will cover our favorite movies of 2018, as well as the worst movies, and some awards for some of the best moments and scenes and scores and trailers and things.
Guilty pleasure films.
Oh, yes. There's going to be so many honorable mentions. We could do an honorable mentions podcast by itself. So yes, make sure to check out, if you're an audio listener, the podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher. Pretty much by the time you're listening to this, it should be up on there. And if not, then just check the link in the description. They'll let you know where it is. So if you're a video listener but you want to download this and listen to it later, check it out there. Review us, recommend us to your friends, all that. If you really hate us, please make sure we know. Please make sure everybody knows how terrible we are.
We're used to the hate comments. So
Yes, we would hate for
bring
you.
it on.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it. We would hate for your opinions to be kept to yourself, because we don't keep our opinions to ourselves. So why should you?
Tune in next month. You might like us a bit better then.
Yeah. Come back in like 4 years, and maybe you guys will. Actually, no. Come back when you guys go to the premiere of Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Please tweet at Lionsgate and Millennium Films. Video viewers, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Slop Shack. That's where it'll be going up, so you can keep up to date with every episode. Send us outfit recommendations.
Desperately.
Yes.
Please.
Let us know what to wear, what you would like us to wear, and we'll wear it. We're not afraid.
Nah.
I'll wear whatever you ask of me, unless it's like really expensive.
Dragon loves pink.
Pink's not a bad color.
Pink's great.
Yeah.
Pink's great. Sorry to bother you makes a reference to pink. 35% of men who wear pink are more likely to be successful or something. A little bit of a sneak peek to our favorite movies of the year. Jump into the comments. Let us know what your most anticipated films of 2019 are. I'm sure we missed a whole bunch, so let us know. I'm genuinely interested, given how much is coming out. There's a lot to pick from, so I want to see what makes the cut and what draws your attention in the midst of so many great films. So that should be good. Make sure to head over to Movies of the Future, movies_of_the_future on Instagram for all your movie news and reviews, so you can know when the Missing Link trailer comes out.
Yes.
Even if you are a massive Laker fan and you missed it somehow. And if you like this, head over to theslopshack.com to check out all of our other podcasts, video series, music videos, all that jazz. Well, thank you for checking out the first episode of Movies Are the Future. Until next time.
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.